Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching from or you're listening from. If you are listening from the radio or you are watching through online, through the Facebook, you are welcome to Family Clinic, where we discuss things that helps us to keep a healthy family, where we discuss things that is necessary, needed in the running of our families. So today I'm coming with a topic that most people shy away from, but I just have to talk about it. It's a topic that parents look at and they don't actually find it necessary. They believe that the child can learn from everywhere, and that is the discussion on sex. Discussion on sex. I really want you to be a pillar for your children when it comes to the area of sex. Most times parents shy away from it. They don't want to discuss it. Some parents believe that when you get into such discussion, you are destroying the child. You are letting a child into what he or she is not supposed to know. But I want to say to us today that whether you teach it or not, your children are learning from outside. Your children are learning from the TV, online. Your children are learning from that little gadget to give to them called phone. They are learning, most of them even know more than you do know. So the more you try to shy away from it, the more you are endangering the life of that child. So today I really want us to look at it and give some point of how we can go about it. You need to let your child know that sex is a good thing. It is a gift from God. You know, sometimes, like when we are growing up, the way our parents taught us, they will tell us, don't allow any man to touch you. They will tell you when you are in your menstrual period, don't allow any man to touch you or come closer to you. So, and as we were growing up, when you are in your menstruation or when you are menstruating, when any man comes around, whether young or old, to greet you or whatever, you begin to run. So that was the understanding that was given to us. But you find out that that is not the truth. Our parents looked at it. We don't really want to expose these children at this age. We don't want to show them, we don't want to. But in the generation where we are in now, a lot of things is being taught, even in the school. In the school, I heard that online there is this story that has been online, that there are some books, like cartoon, that they give children as old as 5 years access to read and to look at, that teaches them the same thing you are running away from letting them know. So today I want to encourage us to really open up and don't shy away from it. I want you to let them know, don't lie to them. Don't tell them, oh, it is the work of the devil, it is the work or the product of the devil. No. It is God's creation. It is made by God, and it is good. It is something that God have ordained. And let them know that when you have urge for sex, you have not committed any crime. Let them know, especially those of them that is matured or growing up, let them know that it is normal. Let them know that there is nothing wrong with you. That does not make you a wayward child. That does not make you the child of the devil. The truth is that it is part of the gift of God. The urge is part of what God placed in you. So it is not wrong. Sex is good. Sex is the gift of God. It is what God have gifted to human for some reasons. The next point you need to let your child know when you have come to this point is to let your child know that it is a comfortable conversation when it comes to you. Make it a comfortable conversation. Let that child know that whenever they are at the crossroad, they need someone to talk to, that you are always available. The truth is that when you don't shy away from it, it's a discussion you always have with your children. When they have questions to ask, instead of them going to their siblings, going to their friends, instead of them going to the social media, they will come to you, because you've brought them to the point where they know that they can discuss with you, that you won't be mad at them and you won't look down on them as maybe spoiled children. You know, some children don't want to speak to their parents because they don't want their parents to see them as spoiled or corrupt children. So when you make it a comfortable discussion, then the child or comfortable conversation, that child will freely come to you and learn more, instead of just learning from the teacher at school, whom you don't know what her foundation or her belief is. That is one. The next thing you also need to let that child know is that you need to let that child know that sex is not meant for every age. Sex is not meant for every age. Sex is not just pleasure. Sex is not just enjoyment. Sex is beyond that. It is beyond me hugging my opposite sex, or some of them are dealing with same sex. You need to let them know that it's beyond that. Sex is good. It's created by God. God allowed it. God gave everyone different organs. It is created by God, but God is not permitting or allowing everyone to have it. Sex is meant for those who are legally married. God ordained it for a reason. And one of those reasons is to build a covenant between two different people. Sex brings them together as one. So when you begin to sleep with someone, what you are doing is that you are building a covenant. You are building an agreement between the two of you. So God made sex not just for pleasure, but for covenant, for commitment. When you have sex, according to the book of 1 Corinthians 6, if you go to 16, 17, 18, 19, it's talking about sex. That sex is meant, when you have sex, you become one with the one you have sex with. There is said, if you have sex with a prostitute, the both of you becomes one. which means whatever that runs in the life of that one you are sleeping with also runs in you. Sex is not just something you do. If you check also, you see some people when you have sex, if the other person have HIV, it is transferred to you. So it is beyond what people call pleasure. It is something that makes two people one, where they enjoy the same blessings and they enjoy the curses. If the person you are sleeping with, if there is a kind of curses running over that life, when you begin to sleep with such a person, you attract the same thing. Because sex is not just a physical thing. I want us to look at the same 1 Corinthians 16. But I want to read from the Message Bible. It explained what it is in a better way. It explained it beyond what we look at. So I want us to see. It said, I'm reading from 16 to 20. It said, there's more to sex than mere skin on skin. Sex is as much spiritual mystery as a physical fact. As written in scripture, the two becomes one. Since we want to become spiritual, one with the master, we must not pursue the kind of sex that avoid commitment and intimacy. I want to stop here. It said sex is beyond skin to skin. It is meant for intimacy, commitment. Sex should happen between two people that are committed legally to each other. So if you bring your child to this knowledge, to this understanding, that look, when you involve yourself in sex, it is not just what you feel at that time. It is beyond that feeling. It is beyond that 2 minutes, 2 seconds, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, depending on how long you can be. The consequences of it is beyond, it's more destructive when you do it outside the purpose of God, when you do it outside what God meant it for. You destroy yourself and you destroy your destiny. Some people will tell you, they will say, no, at least you can deal with condom. Some parents get to the point that they don't have time to talk with their kids. They don't have time to talk with their children. They will just tell them that, look, when you want to involve yourself in it, just make sure you take a condom so that you don't get infected, so that you don't get any pregnancy. But do you know that some condoms are broken? Some of them, children are being messed up. They are messed up with this condom of 18. They just found themselves pregnant. Some will tell you, no, you just have to get into the family planning, take the injections. I have seen people who are taking the injections, who are taking drugs, and yet they get pregnant. So you need to have time to sit with your child and let your child know that sex is not just all about what you feel at that moment. It is beyond that. The consequences is beyond that. There are children that has been messed up emotionally because parents have refused to instruct the children correctly. Parents left their children to the teachers. We've left our children in the hands of the house help. We left our children in the hands of different people. We don't have time to actually sit and correct them. So when you tell them that whenever you want, just go on with condom, what happens to their self-control? What happens to their emotion? A lot of children have been damaged emotionally. Some of them have involved themselves in this act, believing that it is not possible for you to live without it. Because mama have told me, papa have told me that whenever I want, I must just make sure that I go everywhere with my condom. And now a child is involved with every man, every woman, every man. They are involved with anything when it comes to sex, because they believe that it is an urge that you must satisfy only sexually. Some of them are being abused by people who sleep with them because they don't know that word. No, I don't want to partake in this. Sometimes we beat them up. Sometimes we tell them how stupid they are. But you as a mother, have you ever made time to sit, to give this child the way of escape, or to tell your child that this is the way out? So I'm employing parents, please. This generation is not a generation where you will leave your child without instructing them or helping them when it comes to their sexual life. You've given them the impression that you can't do without it. It is just normal. So even when they get married, they are in a relationship and they are busy with other men outside. They are in a relationship. They believe it is normal for them to, wherever it comes, they act on it. So how are we going to help them? What must we do about it? How do we go about it? The first thing I want us to know is that when we give children the understanding or the knowledge of what it is, don't lie to them. Call their attention to know that this is what it is. The next thing is to let them know the advantages and the disadvantages of this act. Let them know what they stand to lose when they involve themselves in this act at a tender age. Some children at 12 have become mothers. Some boys are fathers. They are not prepared. And that is why this generation is going the way it's going. When two children are now parents, They don't know their right from their left. You need to let them know the repercussion of this, that some men take advantage of these children. There are men that their duty is to take advantage of young girls. All that they came to this world to do is to mess up the little girls. All that they come to this world to do is to entice them negatively. Some impregnate them and they will deny. Some will impregnate them and take them for abortion, where their wombs are being damaged, destroyed at a very tender age. Why? Because as parents, we are shy to talk about it. So I want us to take these points. The next one is you need to let your child know what to do when the urge for sex comes. Will the urge come? Yes, they are human. In short, if the urge is not coming, it means that that child is not all right. So the urge will definitely come. But what do I do? Sex is a thing of the mind. So you need to let that child know what to do. There are other ways out, but these little steps is the one I'm going to look into because of my time. You need to speak to your child that whatsoever environment that stirs up the urge and make the urge very strong. When that urge is there, one thing that child must do is to leave that environment, exit that environment. Maybe what you are watching on TV or what you are watching on the social media, you'll see in social media, people have decided to be naked. People have decided to use it as their station for immorality. You must let that child know that what you watch, leave some photograph in your heart. So whatsoever that leaves a negative photograph in your heart, you need to exit it. You cannot continue to watch things from the social media or from your phone or from wherever you find it that steers you up for sex. You cannot continuously watch it and you say you will not get into the practice. So what do you do, my child? My child, what you need to do is to leave that environment. Leave that environment. The number 2 thing is watch out the association that makes it strong in you. The association. See, there are group of children, group of adults that your children will be with. And if you don't do anything about it, they are going to mess your children up. So let them know that, look, you need to depart from those group of friends that all that they know is to have sex everywhere. And they tell you that it is enjoyment. Some of them believe that when you are involved in it, that is when you're a big girl. Please tell your children, talk to them. They will never come to you when it comes to this case. But make an environment, have a family time where you get yourself popcorn, little drinks, and make it a discussion. Some of them will not respond to you. They don't want to talk because they don't want you to know how far they have gone. So don't assume that my child is not talking about it means that my child is innocent. No. Tell your child the environment, the association that draws them back, even when they have made decision not to be part of it. Let them get out from such association. The next point is, when you have this urge, like I said, sex is a thing of the mind. Change your mind from that thought. It is possible. You can control your mind. You can decide what will play in your mind. It's your decision to allow whatsoever to play in your heart. If you decide to change what is going on in your mind, that thing will not forcefully say, look, I want to be there. So when that urge comes, through the pictures you have watched, through the books you have read, or some of the teachings in the school, where they teach you things that when you are left alone, you are messed up. What you need to do is to quickly switch your mind from that thought. Begin to say to yourself, look, I am bigger than this. I own my body. What I allow into my body is what will take place. Please, when you give your children such informations, when they are alone, they know how to fight. They know how to fight. Friends, I want you to know that it is possible for you to live without sex. It is very possible. Don't allow that voice from the pit of hell that is telling you it is not possible. Some adults are messed up because they have that idea, or they have that mindset that it is not possible. It is very, very possible. In short, you are in charge. Because whatsoever you yield yourself to is what becomes your master. Finally, introduce your children to God. Introduce them to God. You know the error, especially we Christians, we make a lot of blunder because we concentrate on religion with our children. Thou shalt not, thou shalt not, thou shalt not, thou shalt not. We are not introducing them to have a personal relationship with God. Some of our children, they just know the God that their parents present to them. They don't know whom the God of heaven is. So where will they get the power to live above sin? Introduce your children. If you as a parent have a personal relationship with God. If you don't, it becomes a bit difficult because you'll be giving them what you have. Don't forget that no man can give what he doesn't have. You will give what you have. So introduce your children to the word of God and let them know God for themselves. The final point I want to treat, or I want to discuss, is pray always without ceasing. for your children. Don't ever want to correct them or bring them right without first of all presenting it to God or presenting them to God. Because it is God that will give you the wisdom to deal with those children. Sometimes when I finish praying in my closet, God will begin to speak to me on issues concerning my children. And they know that whenever I come to you and say, this is it, God told me that this is it, they know that that is the truth. They don't lie about it. They will begin to talk. So when you always present these children to God, God will give you the wisdom to assist them. So please, make the sexual life of your child a comfortable conversation. Please check the words I used. A comfortable conversation. Because if you don't make the conversation comfortable, you will do the talking while they just look at you. Or they will look for a story, maybe what you want to hear, and give to you. Then you go. Please, don't shy away. Don't allow your children to be destroyed outside. Don't allow other people to teach your children, to instruct your children, because what they want or how they see things is different from the way you see things. I pray for you that the Lord God of heaven will help you. I pray for you today that grace will be multiplied unto you. I pray for you today that the giver of children will assist you to bring forth good children. Thank you so much for watching. If you are listening from the radio, thank you so much for listening. I will be with you again by next week. God bless you all.